My name is Colby Sorrells. I'm from live in Mansfield, Texas, and I'm going to be tying the suspended shrimp. It's in the autumn 2009 Fly Tire magazine. I'm also the author of the Fly Fisher's Guide to the Texas Gulf Coast, a book on fishing the Texas Gulf Coast with both fly tackle and light fishing tackle. Okay, we're going to be tying the suspended shrimp. Our hook is a Mustad 34011 size 1. First step we're going to do is actually bend the hook just a little bit, make it a little bit like a keel hook, and just get that hook bent just a little bit, put it in the vise. Going to tie with just monocord, white monocord thread. Starting back at the back as usual. First step, we're going to put in a little bit of micro crystal flash. Don't need a whole lot of strands, just a few, 4, 6, 8 doubled over, something like that will work just fine. Tied in across from the where the hook barb is. Angle it down just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. Run the thread back forward. Trim it off about a hook gap width, length, and that'll be about the right amount of flash on there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use javelina hair, and this is hair out of the back ridge of a javelina. Makes really good feelers for a shrimp type fly. The javelina hair is variegated, white and black, and that's part of the reason I like to use it for feelers on the shrimp. You could also use it as feelers on a crawfish or anything like that. Cut off 2, just eyeball the length. Want it to be about total of about 3 inches long total, something like that. Tie 1 in on each side. You want them to be, once again, angled slightly down, not a lot down, but slightly down and slightly out. You can manipulate them a little bit once you get them tied in because it's somewhat flexible. 1 on each side. Okay, something along those lines. Next thing we want to do is we're going to tie in a rattle, and shrimp definitely make noise. The rattle I use is a rattle made by Northland Tackle Company, and it's called a buckshot rattle. They put them actually on jigs for people that are jig fishermen. But I'm going to take it and I'm going to tie it in right where the bend is on the hook. Make quite a few wraps. Hold it in place, and then we're going to wrap back towards the back and make several crisscross wraps to hold it right in place right there.
Isn't there, there's a...
Then I'm going to take and move that thread back to the other end. For eyes, I simply get a hairbrush that's got the little ends are colored, and I also put luminescent loom hardhead on the end of it. Real shrimp eyes are glow in the dark. They glow in the dark during the night, so that gives these eyes the same effect as a natural shrimp would have. I'm going to take and flatten out the end of this, and I'm going to bend it at a 90-degree bend. And these are very flexible, so therefore they're easy to bend, and they'll hold that pattern pretty well. Just make sure you get that end nice and flat. It's just going to be a little easier to get it on the fly that way. Do that to both of them. Then we're going to take one, we're going to put 1 on each side. Right in almost the same tie spot that you put the javelina hair in. Take 3 or 4 nice wraps, make sure it's in the position that you want, and then tie in the other eye. If you can keep it right on the side of the hook shank, that's the best. You want to be careful about putting too much pressure on it. And I'm going to take and put a drop of Zap-A-Gap in that spot. And I'm also going to put a little bit of Zap-A-Gap down on the hook shank where the rattle's tied in, just to strengthen it up. I'm going to come in and take several more wraps over that rattle at the back end that I didn't wrap before, just to hold it in place real nice. Want to make the fly as tough as you can for when you actually get a fish hitting on it so it doesn't destroy it. I'm going to take and put a little bit more Zap-A-Gap down the sides. Okay, that builds the underbody of the fly. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tie in some clear polar chenille. It looks white, but it's called clear. It's going to, once you get into the water, it's going to almost disappear. It's so clear. Tie that in right in the backside of the rattle. I like to just take 2 or 3 wraps and then fold down the back end part of that to lock it into place. Work your thread forward. And put a little whip finish, there it is, on the front end. If you've got a rotary vise, if you don't have a rotary vise, you might want to just actually go ahead and whip finish and cut the thread off. Use your bobbin rest to get the thread out of the way. Then we're going to take that clear polar chenille and wrap it towards the front of the fly. Most of this we're going to end up cutting off. What we're trying to create is an appearance of a body and appearance of legs on the shrimp. Shrimp's got 10 legs, so it doesn't need a lot of these. But this is going to make it look like there's some movement going on when the fly is in the water. So some of the fibers get towards the back, you can pull them forward. And just take that all the way to the back end of that rattle, and we're going to whip finish it off there, cut off the thread. Okay. Cut that polar chenille off. Take your fingers and just make a few good wraps at the back, smooth it out a little bit. Okay. Once again, going to whip finish right there.
Yeah, it seems like every time you turn around, it changes something.
Take and put you a little bit of Zap-A-Gap on. Once again, we're trying to build a somewhat tough fly that can withstand several redfish, not just necessarily one.